This Preakness Picks edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Shady Rays. SGPN is teaming up with Shady Rays for Shady May. Get 50% off your Shady Rays using promo code SGPN, and then go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with no interest. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to get started today.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy. You're listening to SGP. Wait, hold on. Say it again. Long Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Ooh, welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. I want to talk to Chase and Malcolm like they owe me money. I lost a lot of money on the Derby. They had me feeling very confident.
Oh, well, we had a huge win by Chase, so
that wasn't the Derby.
Oh, okay.
That was
You're right. That was
a nice win.
The turf sprint.
That was a nice win.
Yes.
But I mean, come on, we're a primetime show. Let's not Kirk Cousins it.
We got to show up in prime time all the time. Hey, before we get Malcolm and the Wolf of Oaklawn on the program talking Preakness picks, we have this week's edition of
That is a disgusting act.
this was sent to me by one of my co-hosts of the Die Hard Eagles podcast. Check that out if you're a fellow Eagles fans. Go Birds! This is a golf edition courtesy of Brooks Koepka. Let's take a listen, Ryan.
Oh wow! Thought I unmuted it. Hold on, let me restart it.
There's a lot of guys out here that take their time. I think it is a problem. I mean, technically in the rule book it says you got 40 shots or 40 seconds to take a shot.
He's talking about Cantley.
I think it's what it is. And if you're taking over, technically you're breaking the rules, right? So I don't know.
How would you fix it?
Honestly, I'd start stroking guys. If you're going to take that long, you got to get stroked. Doesn't matter if you're. I mean, there's certain circumstances where the wind switches, something like that. It's understandable, but
oh man, sounds like something you might hear in the bedroom. Hey, if it's going to take this long, you got to get stroked. We got to change something up here.
I'm just Brooks's lady friends checking the wind before she gets to business with him.
I mean, that certainly would help me hurry up my golf swing if I was also getting stroked. You just got to stroke those guys.
It's like Brooks. I thought that was what the 19th hole was.
All right. Hey, before we bring on Malcolm and the Wolf, of course, shout out to Edge Boost, the world's first ever bet now pay later Visa card. All right. Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with no interest. Pay it back over 4 equal weekly installments, 0% interest. So again, no vig on that. All you got to do is deposit your funds. Edge Boost will match the deposit, so you can use 2x the funds on any legal sports betting site. AKA, you want to get down for the Preakness. Maybe you got the winner, and maybe we'll be hearing the winner. Hopefully, knock on wood. Edge currently offers up to $2,500 in advances as you build a repayment history. My Edge double boost, my Edge Boost double down play of the day. I'm going back to the well with the Miami Heat. Loved what I saw game 1. I know it's a little chalky, but the line moved up to 9. The theory is, hey, it's going to zigzag, but I think the Heat keep it close. So I'm going Miami plus 9. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to sign up today. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. Must be 21 years or older. Only valid in legal gambling states. Problem gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You think Joe Mazzulla is going to get the ship right?
Ryan, I sent you a clip proving your theory that he was a psycho, answering some of the questions at the press conference. The guy has really lost his mind. This next gentleman, he hasn't lost his mind. You know him as the host of the notorious OTB podcast. Drop them a subscription, toss them a review, get in there for that fallen Bob painting. The Wolf of Oaklawn himself. What's happening, Wolf?
I'm here. I'm ready. And gentle reminder, guys, it is Preakness week. Therefore, I insist that you refer to me as his Freakness.
His Freakness.
Yes.
We should howl at his Preakness.
Yeah, got a lot of action here on the Preakness. Before we get to that, we have to congratulate you. You did hit
So
Nobles and the Exacta. The Exacta, what was it? It was the turf sprint race on the Friday before the Kentucky Derby.
An apology, Sean. Not always great with the pronunciation. No balls. What's the name of the?
Well, how do you pronounce it, Ryan?
You said nobles.
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 No balls.
No balls.
No, there's only one L though.
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Chase,
we
you hit a
didn't have
500 to 1 Exacta. What walk us through your celebration when you saw that come in?
I was expecting more of a sweat. I actually kind of figured that
that's
we had
just
it.
such a classic response. Yeah, I was expecting to work for a 500 to 1, but another day at the office.
Reminds me of Cornell, Wisconsin in 2020 or 2012.
So whenever they hit the opening quarter, it was only 22 seconds. Is a really easy lead. It was just a prayer for the wire to hurry up and get there. And then something in my DNA, whenever I have like a financial windfall from a gambling win, I start sweating like Jack Lemmon trying to make a sale in Glengarry, Glen Ross. Like I just go straight into flop sweat, like I'm on trial for murder. So yeah, it was a lot of sweaty euphoria afterwards.
That you and Sean are long lost friend. I mean, sounds a lot like the day that Sean won 200 grand at DraftKings. It was just like, get me the fuck out of here.
Thought something really bad was going to happen. Speaking of sweaty euphoria, this guy celebrating his Premier League team, playing really well on the pitch. You know him from the Premier League Gambling Podcast and the MLB Gambling Podcast. Our official friend across the pond, Mr. Malcolm Bamford. What's happening, Mal?
Ryan, if you would like me and Chase to stroke each other in penance for our Kentucky Derby picks, then I am fully prepared to do that. No, just finished recording a very giddy episode of the Premier League Gambling Podcast with Big Baz because Newcastle took a huge step tonight to. I know you don't care. I know none of you care, but I'm going to tell you anyway. A huge step towards Champions League qualification. We humped Brighton 4-1 tonight. So we stand on the precipice of Champions League qualification. It's been a long day. There's a little cloud hanging over my head. I was like Charlie Brown's mate all day. I was panicking. I was anxious, and I need not have been because we were outstanding. So yeah, dead excited, but excited for the ponies and to speak to you boys too. So good evening.
Well, I have a surprise for Malcolm because I think I shared that I was exploring picking up a Premier League team because the little one has fancied watching, like getting into what we watch every highlight of every game every weekend, the extended version. So we're talking like a solid 90 minutes of commitment to soccer every week. And we decided we needed to pick up a team. And so we're evaluating Newcastle. We're in the fan portal. Okay. Newcastle's currently in the lead. So if I was going to put out one of those top 5 recruiting graphics, Newcastle would be the big logo, like currently number 1. But just so you know, I care. Sean doesn't care. I do care.
True, I don't care, but I'm happy for Malcolm. Happy for Malcolm.
Big factor in the portal evaluation. I have a Newcastle jersey already.
Yes,
thanks to Malcolm.
Yep. Yes, the jersey
with her name on it.
Yes,
there is a Los Angeles supporters club for Newcastle United, and they get together, watch all the games in the bar. So if you take her there, get your shirt on, go down to the bar. That will sell it. That will seal the deal, I reckon.
You're not. That's a lot more.
You need to do like a recruiting video, Ryan, where you like have all the hats or your kits. You have 3 kits in front of you, and you pick one.
I'm 2 kits short currently.
Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be.
I do have a Jamaican national team jersey.
All right, maybe right by the. I wonder why you support them, Ryan.
Big fan of the island.
All right, let's talk Preakness here. Starting it off, Wolf, give us a little breakdown on the Pimlico race course in beautiful Baltimore, Myrtleland.
You mispronounced his Preakness.
Yes, sorry, your Preakness. Walk us through the course here.
Yeah, well, you've got the Preakness at Pimlico in Baltimore. It's a classic track. It's known for the kind of the golden rail on the dirt, where the rail seems to heat up on big days.
What do you mean by the rail seems to heat up?
when you see horses that run on that first path that are right by the rail, they tend to carry a little bit further. Like they might look gas, but they just seem to keep finding and everything. Or you'll see horses that were trailing actually make moves up the rail where other horses are flattening out. So it's just a little bit of like a path bias.
Is that like in cross country skiing when the person tries to leave the predetermined trail to pass someone, but it's slower? Oh, interesting. So that's very fascinating. By the way, Sean, most people call it a horse track, not a horse course.
Well, I'm reading his notes, and it says race course.
It's technically called Pimlico Race Course.
Yeah, so shut the fuck up, Ryan.
But of course, this is their premier weekend. They've got on Friday, you have the Black-Eyed Susan Stakes, which is a big race for 3-year-old fillies. Essentially, this is the Kentucky Oaks of Preakness weekend. And then you've got the big one, the second leg of the Triple Crown on Saturday. You've also got Bruno Mars playing in the infield, I believe. There are the porta potty races where people run.
Legends.
I don't know what they're running towards. I can only tell certain doom, possibly, with people throwing tall boys of what appears to be probably not Bud Light this year. I'm going to assume. I'm assuming like Coors Light flying through the air. Yeah, it's a wild weekend, and his Freakness approves.
It's very edgy for 2023 to throw cans at people. And
yeah, I don't. Do they
like,
still do the porta potty races? And do Malcolm any handicapping you've done on the drunken people running on the porta johns? Any handicapping insights there for those races?
I'm not familiar with US horse course shenanigans. I'm very familiar with UK race course shenanigans because it's just permanently. The big festivals in the UK. It's a drunken mess, especially if you go to the northern ones where you get in, like in Newcastle, for example, they have what they call Ladies' Day. There's not mean, that's a stretch, like, and you can guarantee by 6 p.m. if you go into town, there's not every woman's carrying their shoes. It's one of those days, you see like. It's like the Oklahoma land rush. All the single men and some of the not so single ones are just out in town trying to hoover up all of these women carrying their shoes by tea time on a race day.
In your country, do you also run on temporary restrooms?
I've never heard of this.
They're too classy for that. They're too classy for that kind of thing.
Fucking traditionalists over there. They're tea.
All right, let's talk about it. Friday, the Black-Eyed Susan, aka race 13 here. What do you like? Your Freakness. What are we doing here, Black-Eyed Susan?
Well, you've got a favorite that I think is that's going in just basically on trainer name alone because the Bob is back. That's right. Bob Bamford is allowed to enter horses in this leg of the Yeah, it's in my DNA to fade him. I'm going to try to beat him, and I'm going to use horse number 8, Ball Pool. I'm all into these horses where you pronounce ball
Pool.
Yeah,
sounds like
Ball Pool.
That sounds like is Brooks Koepka a partial owner there? Pro stroking horse.
But I think that this horse could actually end up with a comfortable lead. I don't think that there's a ton of pace, and I think that Fyza is really dependent. Fyza being the Bob Bamford favorite, really dependent on getting that sort of pace set up. Without that much early speed, it's easy for a horse like Ball Pool to make the lead and hold it all the way around. So I'm taking that shot at 8-1 with the win bet. And then I'm going to do an exacta here with Ball Pool in first. Then I'm going to use a horse Merlazza, who really pops on thoroughgraph figures, could be due for a monster race underneath with Fyza.
Like whenever you talk thoroughgraphs, I love that we're talking horsalytics here, Ryan.
Well, and if you're wearing glasses like the ones you have, like we were toying around before the show, you get like the extra dimension of thoroughgraphs.
Yes, I got my horse racing shades on here. Yeah. Love these things. Merlazza, what is that horse outright? I know Balpool straight up looking around 8-1 right now. Fyza is the favorite. The Bamford one, like you were saying, that's sitting at around 7-5. What is Merlazza just to win?
Merlazza is 6-1 right now on the morning line. It being Brad Cox, if you can bet it at fixed odds, in an offshore book or wherever you're able to place your horse bets, I would probably take that shot with Merlazza at 6-1 because you're not going to get a better price on this come race time.
All right, I'm just gonna put some stuff in the old shopping cart. Not hungry. We had a nice lunch, so I'm not hungry, but I am gonna just. By the way, Ball Pool is plus 750 on that same futures market.
Oh, okay. All right. That's not bad. Mal, any thoughts on the Black-Eyed Susan?
Yeah, I've got a couple of thoughts. The favourite is favourite for a good reason, has won 5 for 5. But the horse comes out of California, and now I'm not going to pretend that this is one of my nuggets of information, but I have been told, I have it on good authority, that the Californian fillies don't often match up with their counterparts from the rest of the nation. So Californian fillies can often flatter to deceive a little bit. So I'd be happy to, it's too short a price as well. So I'd be happy to put a line through that. The other one I put a line through early. Now, this is going to fly in the face of what everything Chase just said, because the one I put a line through early was Ballpool. I don't like it at all. I think it was really well placed by Pletcher last time out. It won a small field race. The race was meant to run on the turf. It was really wet. They took it off the turf. Loads of horses defected. And Todd Pletcher saw his chance and thought, I'll stick mine in, steal the money, which is exactly what he did. So Ballpool went and did it. I think this is a much, much tougher assignment. The good news is the one I do like is Merlazza. So
we got kind some consensus.
We've got a mild consensus. I hate one of Chase's picks and love the other one. This is an improver, which you know is one of my things. She has won 3 in a row, shows good speed. Finished really well at Oaklawn last time, was still running through the line. So yeah, Malazza for me. And I do like that there's a horse called Husia Filly. She's a fly in the ointment here, because on her 2-year-old form, she'd be the head and shoulders the best horse in this race, I think. However, she seems to have lost her way a little bit. Now, they're young horses. If she runs like we know she can, she's been working well. She looks okay, so there's no reason why she can't get back to that 2-year-old form. So if she can reprise some of those runs, then Husia Filly will be live at 7-1. So Malazza and Husia Filly are the two for me.
So maybe, yeah.
Say that name again.
Husia.
Husia.
Now, Husia is
it's not Hoosier
with American sports people, isn't it? Because
it's Hoosier. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, well, I think there's some the translation from English to English. It's getting lost.
I'm doing a little shopping over here, and I'm like, Hoosier.
So to me, I like they both like Merlazza here, Ryan. I think I'm just gonna go win, play, show with Merlazza.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then Merlazza, Hoosier, and Ballpool in a try box with the idea of just fading Fyza there.
It makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay, so I like those two.
Maybe sprinkle all 3 in the futures markets too.
Ooh, yeah, all right.
I'm just gonna do that so I remember to put the trifecta in later.
Sir Freakness or his Freakness, are all these races 8-horse races?
A lot of the turf races actually have a lot more entries, and there are a few of the stakes races that are on the undercard on Friday and on Saturday are a lot bigger. They're double digits, 12 to 14 horses.
Real quick, because
sure.
I know the audience always loves trivia. Why is it called the Black-Eyed Susan Stakes? Sean, Chase and Malcolm, I'm sure know the answer to this question.
Black
horse specialists that they are. Malcolm just made a face. YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast.
Black-Eyed Susan. I have no idea.
Which, first of all, the fact that they haven't
some lady who burned dinner, Ryan.
They haven't changed the name.
I could not. I just did that for Chase just to get a reaction out of it.
I will say this: surprising that we haven't seen the State Flower of Maryland change its name with Black-Eyed Susan. Not a very progressive. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, seriously.
How do you explain that? Hey, honey, we're gonna. Hey, you're spending a day with the daughters, and you want to plant some Black-Eyed Susans.
Wait, is it a plant? What are we talking?
It's a flower. It's a yellow flower with a black center. Hence the black eye.
All right, easy
and it's
enough.
the State Flower of Maryland, where the Preakness takes place. That's all.
Love it.
Yeah,
but the little flower
it
history.
Seems as though they've leaned into making. I know race for fillies, so the ladies are racing, but they've also turned it into a big ladies' day out at the Preakness. So
what a way to trick some women into coming to
ladies'
the park.
Night.
Hey, it's ladies' day here at the horse racing. Well, I mean, that's why they came up with the fun idea, the idea of fun hats.
Yeah,
that's the only way you can kind of get ladies into the idea of Kentucky Derby. My wife is really torn as an animal person. She sees all these headlines of horses dying, but then she's like, "Oh, fun hat." So really on the fence, but leaning towards no here.
And like Malcolm described,
fun hats with a great equalizer.
Yeah.
Like, a lot can be palatable with a great hat.
and like Malcolm mentioned,
CJ, of course, man in the box, has been reminding everyone who mentions horses. Way less horses have been dying than historically. So
yeah, they're doing better than they used to do.
Really, really optimistic.
And like Malcolm mentioned earlier, I'm sure this day ends with a bunch of women carrying their shoes out to the parking lot.
Frat party from Penn State. You would just see them walking back with their shoes. The all timer was I went to pick up my wife, or tried to pick up my wife, at the Rose Bowl after a Beyonce concert, and I couldn't get to within like 4 miles, and it was just hordes of women walking shoeless, and there was some genius in the parking lot selling sandals for $20, and he was just making a killing. Instead of, how normally they sell T-shirts,
genius.
This guy was just selling sandals. He was just cleaning up.
Almost like the guys that sold those pickaxes to the people trying to find gold.
Yes, exactly.
Geniuses.
Selling them the jeans. All right, let's move over to Saturday, the Maryland Sprint Stakes, race 11, 6 furlongs, 100K, Maryland Sprint Stakes. What do we got here, Sir Preakness? What are we doing?
I'm trying to call my shot again on the undercard. And
okay, write this down, Ryan.
It's got roughly 15 to 20% less stank than no balls, but I think this could possibly end up being your biggest long shot of the day at the on the Preakness card if we get it. I'm taking the threes over deuces at 15 to 1.
Whoa. 15 to 1, Sean. He's coming in heavy. He heard me.
Okay.
He heard me at the top of the show.
All right. I'm listening. Threes over deuces, 15 to 1. Okay.
It should be able to get to the rail. All the early speed is coming from way out wide. They're going to have to expend a lot of energy dueling each other wide to the rail. And this horse stands to just sit a good trip behind those early leaders on the rail. And as soon as the hole opens up, hopefully goes and gets home for the price.
Okay. So now you got this at 15 to 1. Do you got any sort of win play show, an exacta? Any sort of long shot on top of that? I mean, 15 to 1's great. Don't get me wrong, but come on. I need a lot to get really to get full.
Sword Vitality's not running right now.
Exactly.
Sean needs a little bit more.
I need a little pick me up.
There are horses that are going to take a lot of money in the place and show pools that are I think could possibly miss the board. If that happens, then it makes sense to go ahead and bet this horse win play show. And then I'll probably try to play another exacta using threes over deuces in first, and then using the number 7 Nakatomi and the 8 straight no chaser in second. Those are the most likely winners of the race if threes over deuces doesn't fire like I think he will. So I would not only play that exacta with 3 over 7-8, but also 7-8 over 3 to kind of cover your bases there in case the horse gets picked off late.
My bases sound like they'll be covered here.
All right, so it sounds like we already have a pretty. I mean, this. All right, can just. I got a bunch of notes. I'm just looking at the girth of the notes.
Lot of action here. What about you, Mal? You got any thoughts here on the race 11 Maryland Sprint Stakes?
Yeah, I looked at this. This appealed to me because it's a sprint and there's a lot of older horses in there. Which we'll get a lot of that in this country. So you'll see some 7 and 8 year olds. And I felt like I could handicap this. So I did from scratch, kind of blind, without looking at the odds. And the answer is straight no chaser, which is one that Chase has just put up in his exotics with his 15 to 1 selection there. So yeah, I got no problem with that. The favourite Nakatomi, I've seen this run in this country, ran at Ascot in the Norfolk Stakes, but it has a tendency to find trouble, this horse. If there's trouble to be found, Nakatomi's there. So yeah, straight no chaser was the one for me, and I enjoyed handicapping this. This was kind of in my ballpark, so yeah, I was happy with this pick.
We should maybe record that process next time. The people would love to watch Malcolm handicap from scratch. Sean.
Well, he might be in the bathtub, Ryan. I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can authorize all recording of Malcolm.
Do you know? So we just discussed the race, and we're about to discuss a race that is. I don't know how many, but we just discussed the 6 furlong race. How long is a furlong?
Quarter mile.
Quarter mile.
That's my first guess. Yep.
Eighth mile.
Eighth mile.
220 yards.
220 yards or 40 rods. Do you,
What's a rod?
Oh, rod. Great question. It's a length of about 5.5 yards, which is believed to originated from the typical length of a medieval ox goad. Basically, the metal rod that would hook from the oxes to the plow. So that
I love it. I love how this stuff gets started.
So it's actually 40 rods.
Okay,
which is
that's how I measure most.
Which again,
rods.
Brooks Koepka might be interested over here again, just coming in stroking.
He's talking to his he's talking to his caddy. How many rods am I away from this? Okay, give me my 8-iron. About 60 rods out here.
I'm the only one that wishes he was really talking about Bryson DeChambeau for the sexual tension.
I mean, imagine 40 rods in one day. That's a furlong.
That's a lot. You're gonna be tired. Hey. Before we get to our official Preakness picks, shout out to Talkify. That's right, Talkify. Again, dating is hard. Talkify is easy. Makes it so easy to find your perfect match. If you're looking for a stroking partner, Talkify is the place to go. They have trusted compatibility specialists, hand select successful and compelling candidates so you can date consciously and productively. Again, so much wasted time in dating, the awkward questions, the horrible first dates. Again, you want a perfect first date. You got to get it going. Talkify is here to help make that happen. They do all the screening, the heavy lifting beforehand. They really make it easy. 80% of their clients met their person within the first 12 matches. Right now, Talkify is offering our listeners 20% off when you become a client at talkify.com/SGPN. That's TAWKIFY.com/SGPN for 20% off when you become a client. Talkify.com/SGPN. And hey, got a big date coming up. Maybe a Talkify match. Pop on those Shady Rays. Love my Shady Rays. Not only are they great sunglasses, they even ship to the United Kingdom. I know Baz from the Premier League Gambling Podcast got himself a pair. You look sharp, you bet sharp. You're going out. Maybe you got a porta potty race to run. You need some protective eyewear. Again, you don't want to get hit in the eye with a beer can. And let's say you break your Shady Rays running on top of porta potties. If there's anyone that this would happen to, I think it might be someone in our audience, Ryan. They got you covered. No questions asked. They're not going to say, "Hey, were you at the Preakness getting involved in some shenanigans?" You don't have to answer those questions. We're your Shady Rays attorney. Don't answer any questions how your Shady Rays broke or got lost. You don't need to. ShadyRays.com, promo code SGPN, 50% off. And then sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win the $500 Shady May contest. Here we are, Ryan.
Be a pretty cool way to break your glasses.
Yes.
Catch a Coors Light to the face, running across temporary bathrooms.
I'll include some links in the sportsgamblingpodcast.com to some videos.
I was gonna say it's like how did they describe the rocket exploding? The rapid unplanned unplanned deconstruction or something like that.
Rapid unplanned disassembly.
Yeah, that's some of those porta potties.
Yes,
come this Saturday.
They're not made to be run on top of. I'll include, as a guy who used to work on a clip show, I'm aware of many of a good porta potty clips.
Can you think of a worse place to try to take a shit?
No. I mean, any sort of live sporting event, and then you throw in the fact that someone may be running on top of your porta potty. It is just truly.
We live in a time of the internet.
Disgusting act.
How is this not live streamed?
I do not know, Ryan. I'm sure there's some people going on on Instagram live.
I'd like to watch the live.
John Morant. All right.
Jesus.
Let's talk Preakness race 13, $1.5 million up for grabs. 3-year-old colts are the horses that will be racing. Obviously, Mage is running. Only Kentucky Derby horse that is running in the Preakness.
Is Forte running?
Forte?
Yeah.
Because Forte was a vet scratch, because actually he tested positive for a therapeutic overage. So there's a little bit of a question mark around him, but he scratched the day of the Derby because of there like being a 14-day period with the Kentucky vet. Yeah, so he wouldn't qualify to like race in this race.
It's like the concussion protocol.
Yeah.
He got fucked.
He got boxed in.
So is the theory that he was hurt and they were giving him a bunch of drugs to make him be all right?
There's a lot of normal shit. You know, I don't know for sure how any of this works. Some theories say when they get popped for these like therapeutic overages, that it's actually a masking agent for something else. Yeah. No proof. I have no proof. I have no idea if that's
that makes
true.
sense.
And the other thing is, it just maybe like you can give the horses these things, but it has to be out of their system by race day, and so maybe they just didn't metabolize it fast enough.
Okay.
I mean, generally, I would say when someone tests positive for something that's not illegal, but it can hide stuff that is illegal, that's probably what they're doing.
It was like Sammy Sosa when he was like randomly testing positive for estrogen. It's like trying to grow breasts, Sammy. What's going on here?
I know my wife needs the HGH.
It was Peyton Manning's wife had ordered all that testosterone in the mail. All right, hey, whatever you and the missus are into, we're not judging. We're not judging, Peyton. All right, we'll let you start things off here, Mal. What do you like in the Preakness? Of course, Malcolm's article up over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Always my first read when I'm diving deep in the horse handicapping streets. What do you got for us here on the Preakness, Malcolm?
Yeah, so Mage is the favourite, as you mentioned, the only horse. I think this is the first time since 1960 something. There's only been one Kentucky Derby entrant, which has made it to this race. And there's a conversation to be had another day amongst horsemen, etc., whether or not these what are you laughing at? That these races are now too close together.
Wait, Malcolm, we are all horsemen and we're having a conversation.
I just love I think there was just a turn of phrase of a conversation to be had among horsemen. It was just delightful.
Sean, we need to Photoshop the four horsemen.
Four horsemen.
Me, you, Mal, and Chase.
Now we're talking.
All right, sorry, continue.
Because in all sports, I hear you people talk about load management. Moonaf's always on about that. The basketball, etc. I saw it tonight. Brighton left their three best players on the bench against Newcastle because they had a game last week. And the same things happened with horses. They used to run them all the time. They'd run 13, 14, 15 times a year, sometimes more. There was a horse won twice on the same day at Newcastle. Back in the day, which is completely and utterly unheard of.
It's like
so
pitchers.
These two races are 2 weeks apart, and their horses are worth gazillions of pounds, and they don't want to risk them, which is fair enough. So the only one who's taken the risk is Mage because he won the Derby. So you've got the option of winning the Triple Crown there. Mage, I thought we were a little bit unlucky picking the winner of the Kentucky Derby because I wanted the unexposed horses. And the one we landed on was King's Barnes. Now, Mage is kind of in the same profile in that Mage had only had 3 starts before. There was a lot of imponderables about it. And actually, Mage came out, got a clean run into a fast pace. Everything went his way. And on only his 4th start, he improved on what he'd done previously and won. It wasn't a fluke. I think if he reproduces that form, or indeed any of his previous form, that might get it done today. However, the question is, how fresh is he going to be after the Derby? It's a grueling race. It's a hard race. It's a 20-runner field. There's a lot of exertion to be had on the horse. Then they ship it out to Baltimore. So will Mage recover in time? That's the question mark. You've got to ask yourself about that one. I'm going to go with no. So I'm looking elsewhere. So we're now looking amongst the other 7. There's a couple that stand out to me. The first one is First Mission, which is the Godolphin horse trained by Brad Cox. Another one that's only had 3 starts, won the Grade 3 Lexington, which was quite recently, April the 15th, and did it with a really good attitude, knuckle down. It looked really workmanlike. It looked pretty straightforward, is what you want. If you've got these thoroughbred horses, can be a bit flighty. This thing looked straightforward. So you want that on your side. That's a box ticked. I've put that in with one of the fancy prices. There's a horse called Perform, which I've got up at 25 to 1 here.
Yes,
Perform won won a really mad race at Laurel Park, where it was at various points seen on the inside of the track, on the outside of the track. It was seen in the post office, on the local high street. It was all over the place, and then eventually broke through and won. A really good, fun watch. And they supplemented this. We've talked about this before, Sean. This should be a trivia question for you. The owners supplemented this horse for $150,000 to enable it to run. And before that, she was running against some tough company as well. So first mission, Perform, and then the third one I'm going to take for my trifecta.
Wait, does that mean they paid? Hold on, does that mean they paid $150K for Perform to run in this race?
Correct. Yes.
Oh, so they're pretty.
Yeah. No.
There's various entry levels, so you can enter this horse the day it's born. Might cost you $50. Obviously, a gazillion horses enter. And then one by one, for various reasons, they don't make it to the track, they don't train up. You can then so there's various. You can enter it at 6 months. It might cost you $10,000. You can enter it. So to enter it a couple of weeks ago cost them $150,000. So they're not going there. They're not pissing about like that. They're going there wanting a good run for the money. So the third one I've got in there behind that is the Baffert horse, National Treasure. This has all the hallmarks of a plot. There's more questions than answers the more you dig into National Treasure's form. It's only won one race out of 5. Baffert does know how to get them ready for this. He's got 7 wins in this race. Had a bit of an unsettled prep. They keep putting the blinkers on. They take the blinkers off. So yeah, it's a bit of a grinder, but this does smell like a Bob Baffert plot to me. And wouldn't Bob Baffert just want the storyline to be him this weekend, having not been able to have a runner in the Kentucky Derby? So I think first mission for me, 11-4. Perform at a fancy price, can run a big race, and then National Treasure can follow those home. That's my 1, 2, 3.
I mean, I went to go look. I wanted to see if there was any relation between National Treasure and Nicolas Cage. Maybe he was. Maybe
he was an investor.
Maybe he was somehow.
I do like that nugget about them dropping $150,000. To Malcolm's point, that shows they got a feeling that they're serious about this horse.
When does a horse typically end? Like what? Like were most of these horses? I'm guessing that's not normal for horses to do that.
They nearly all enter when they're first eligible at birth, pretty much.
Okay.
Because literally there'll be 7,000 entries. Like every horse that's born in Kentucky in those breeding states just automatically you're talking multi-millionaire. It's just procedure. It would be negligent of someone not to enter it. I don't really know why it's been missed. But this does happen occasionally.
Crazy. So Wolf, aka his Preakness, how say you about the Preakness itself?
I mean, I agree a lot with what Mal is saying. I landed on the 8 first mission. I think Mage is an excellent horse. I think Mage might be the best horse in this race with the brightest future. But the fact of the matter is that Mage is pace compromised with this race because there's not here. The way Mage won the Kentucky Derby was I think they hit the half mile in 45.3 seconds, which is one of the fastest in the last 30 years. It actually matches the half mile from last year whenever they set the fastest quarter too. So this was a very fast race. It just fell to Mage. Now Mage had to do everything right to take advantage of it. But I don't think that there'll be as much to take advantage of. So I really like Mage in second because a horse trying to close into a slower pace, not a lot of pace pressure, just like smacks of finish second by a head or finish second by a neck. I do like first mission for Godolphin and Brad Cox here. Another one that really pops on the thoroughgraphs. I don't have faith in Bob Baffert's horse shipping east. I remember seeing it a couple of years ago, right after the Medina Spirit thing. Everyone thought Bob's horses are going to come in and fire because Bob's got this chip on his shoulder, and he had some horses that looked like absolute studs that just fell flat. It's been a couple of years, things have changed, but that sticks out to me. And also, fuck Bob Baffert.
Wow.
So I'm going to be betting first mission to win here. I'm going to use Mage, Red Route 1, and Blazing Sevens as all horses underneath in a trifecta. So I'll take those 3 horses and put them in second and third. So you have 1 horse in first, 3 in second and third.
Oh, All right, making some notes here, Sean.
Yeah, a lot going on.
I mean, honestly, we're gonna have to have a debrief after the show. Make sure we get all this right.
I mean, the fact that they're both on first mission like that, I love Malcolm's case for perform. So I think for me, perform definitely going to co-sign win, play, show.
Oh,
And
wow.
then first mission.
Red Route Run was the other one that unrelated to Chase just mentioning it was also looking at. That's another longer shot. So
Yeah, there are a couple other horses. National Treasure, you said you were out on. So sorry, let's see.
all right,
Here's what I'm doing, Ryan. I want first mission in there. I want perform in there. So I have them both to win.
I'm insanely annoyed. Like, why this whole time I'm taking all these notes, not remembering that of course Chase wrote all this down.
Oh yes, he has the research stuff.
Get the fuck.
Who should be the third horse to put in my try box?
Oh,
I know that that Malcolm was saying National Treasure. I don't know.
we do like Nicolas Cage. I mean,
Malcolm said National Treasure. Malcolm, if you had to throw a third horse besides National Treasure, I got first mission perform. What's another horse you like here to round out my try box?
Oh, it's tricky, man. Blazing Sevens, Chase mentioned.
Sounds
Chad
like a
Brown's
slot
got
machine.
this. Really crafty. And no, again, had a couple of winners in this. The horse has been quite highly tried. It's finished behind 40 a few times. So they think a lot of it, this horse. They've been trying it at the top level. So yeah, take the Chad Brown horse, Blazing Sevens, Sean, would be my
All right, so there it is.
We're gambling.
Try
show.
box, Blazing Sevens, perform, and first mission. That feels great, Ryan.
Actually, love that.
That feels
sounds
great.
With
When
only
you're
eight.
putting those bets together, like you really have to mix up your running styles. Like you don't want all horses that run on the front, all horses that close. And so with that box, like you've got pretty much everyone put in there. That's great.
Let's go. Oh, that's gonna feel
With
so
only
good when that hits, Ryan.
With only 8 horses, it feels a little bit like we can be Colby with the USFL and just bet on half the horses.
I know.
Fuck it, let's go.
There are just for the D-gens, Chase the Chaos and Coffee with Chris both sitting at 66-1. Do either of those horses have a chance, Sir Freakness? And if one of them did, which one would it be?
I would say if you were going to roll with either one of those, it would be Coffee with Chris. The reason being that Chase the Chaos will bait chasing the chaos, likes to come from way far back. And if there's no pace, then it has the same issue as Mage. It's not as talented of a horse as Mage. So I think the other one that you mentioned is Coffee with Chris. That one's going to stand a chance to be closer to the lead. It's been running against, Mid-Atlantic Stakes company. Who knows? Could pop. This isn't a star-studded field by any means. Winner could come out of nowhere.
Real quick, unrelated to the Preakness, related to the Kentucky Derby and Kings Barnes. Malcolm, as that horse was looking promising, and then coming down the stretch, it just stopped trying. Like, did something happen? Did the horse break a leg, or was that just it giving up like a coward?
Yeah, the second one.
Oh my god! I'm watching it. No, let me set this.
Interested in us. The jockeys
yeah.
aren't as interested as us in
fucking dickhead.
Quinella or whatever the hell it is.
It's actually the owners of Kingsbarn actually threw the jockey under the bus
Really?
after the ride in the Kentucky Derby. Yeah. I don't know what the instructions were supposed to be because it looked like a horse that needed to be running on the front, but they asked him, he said, apparently, the kid didn't follow instructions. Apparently the kid being 29-year-old jockey, Jose Ortiz, who's won millions upon millions of dollars.
Never betting on that guy again. He's got Jason Tatum like dog in him.
And how much do the small dogs and how much do the jockeys make? Do they make like
percentage? I would assume.
Like a 10% cut of the purse?
I'm actually not sure what the exact purse cut is. Mal might be able to tell you better than I can, but it is. I mean, it's a percentage. It's the same thing for their agents. They're all just a percentage off of winning purses.
So
yeah, in this country, you get a flat fee, which is like £130 or something ridiculously low for risking your life, and then 10%. So that's why you get these jobbing jockeys who are out riding 100 horses a week to make a few quid. But yeah, 10%, I think.
So apparently this isn't the same at all tracks. And based on this skimming this thing, this is maybe directly related to the prestigious level of the track. But like the Kentucky Derby, for example, of the 1.86 million in the 2023 race of the first place purse, 186K did go to the jockey. So 10% first place, 5%. So 30K of the 600K went to second place, and third place was same 5%, 15,000 out of 300,000. So I mean that's I would imagine the casino nearby after a good a good Derby day, see the jockeys all at a table together. Fucking just
imagine being 20 other jockeys and 20 other horses just to win a used Nissan Rogue, essentially.
Yeah.
Hey, it's run for the roses.
Honestly, if this show doesn't exist, I don't think. But give me Hard Knocks with the jockeys.
Oh yeah.
3-part miniseries. Just do the Triple Crown.
Yeah, leading up to the Triple Crown, like that would be awesome.
I'd watch that.
But like horse racing in slow motion, it looks awesome.
You know they fight like NASCAR style, probably. After that. They fucking
little jockey fights. I like it.
I think you would need some sort of translating specialist from the UN to come in to keep track of that. You would have to read
all
that
different tiny
series.
countries.
Let's just wait a couple years. AI will do it.
Yeah,
it's easy enough.
All right, hey guys, we got to go get down on some bets. Big thanks as always for calling into the show. Make sure you check out Mal on Twitter at Mal_B_sport. Check him out on the MLB Gambling Podcast and the Premier League Gambling Podcast. Shout out to his squad, looking really fit there on the pitch.
Yeah, Newcastle.
And you know him, the Preakness, aka the Wolf of Oaklawn. Subscribe to the notorious OTB for all your horse racing needs, and make sure you that subscribe button, youtube.com/sports gambling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. New pods dropping on YouTube Sunday to Thursday, 8:30 Pacific, 11:30 East.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
That means sometimes we're on at 8:30 in Arizona, and sometimes we're on at 9:30.
Kramer, let it ride.